Hey there, today I'll be showing you how to create your first function app on Azure and also how to create functions. So first things first, you might want to search here for function app just in case you don't know where that is. And once you're there, you can click on create. And then that brings you here and you have to select the resource group. I assume you have a resource group created already. Just in case you don't, you can create a new resource group and you can name it Azure, in my case, Azure Tutorials is good to go. And then it's going to mark that. And you need a function app name. I'll just name it function tutorial. This is one of the characters that are unacceptable. So I'll just use camel case here. And this is not available. And this is not available as a name. So I might just use a couple of numbers. This works definitely. So if you want to deploy code or container image, it's going to be code. And the runtime stack, I'll be using Python for it. You can also select a version just right over here. I'll be going with the latest one, 3.11, but you can use 3.9, 3.8, 3.10. You can't use anything less than 3.8. For regions, you might want to select regions that tallies with the region of the storage account you created if you're going to be connecting your functions app to your storage account. Maybe you want to do stuff like blob retrieval or landing and processing within function app. You can use that also. Runtime stack, I'm going to be selecting Linux. And for my hosting, I'm going to be selecting serverless. This is optimized because it only starts running when you call the function. And this helps you save cost, lots of it actually. So that's the best option you might want to use. For storage account, like I said, it's better to select the location that really tallies with your storage account's location. So this is created and automatically, and then we have blob service. Just a minute. Yeah, so this was created for that. There's a new one, there's a new storage account, but you can select any existing storage account here. And then most of this necessary monitoring public access, yes. And for monitoring, you might want to allow applications insights. This, I will show you the functions of application insights in subsequent videos, but yeah, let's say we have this also for EastUS, and then GitHub Actions settings. In later videos, I'm going to show you how to use CI/CD with GitHub Actions to automatically deploy your functions up here. But for now, we're going to disable that, and then for tags are really essential if you want to be able to associate your resource with a particular tag, or you want to be able to call them or search for them with a particular tag. This also helps you with billing in case you need to group similar resources together, but it's not exactly necessary for a use case. And there's the last step. We have our subscription here. We have the resource group name. We have the name of the function app itself, the Python stack, the storage account, the hosting option, which is serverless. Like I said, this helps you start the function app just when you call the functions app itself. So it doesn't keep running in the background or anything like that. This helps you save cost. And we have the region, which has to be the same across your storage account and your application insights. We have application insight enabled. We have function tutorial as the name of the application insight. This was all created dynamically the moment I created this resource group, and we can create. Next, you're going to see deployment in progress. This shows everything is still ongoing and it's creating the function hub for you. And then you see your deployment is complete. Right after that, we can go to the resource itself, and I'll show you a couple of functionalities here. Firstly, you can see the location again. You can see the status is running. You can decide to stop it to save cost, or just keep it running. And this is the URL to your Functions app. You can actually click on this and you will see a page that tells you your Function app is up and running, just like this. So this tells you it's functioning. A couple of things on the sidebar to note here. Firstly, you can have the activity log, which really tells you a couple of activities that has taken place there. You have the access control here, which helps you grant different users of your Azure account access to the resource. If you're using an organization sort of subscription, this helps you manage groups of people. We have the tags, we have the events here. Identity is pretty important if you need to connect this Azure resource to any other resource within your Azure environment. Say you want to extract key vault, you want to extract secrets from key vault, you might want to select this as on, and then it's going to assign you an object ID. Save that. Yep, this is going to assign you an object ID that you can then use to assign identity to any of your other Azure resource, and this is useful for connecting different Azure resources together for retrieval. And last, I'll be showing you here the app service plan is intuitive. We have the API management system. I'm still going to talk about later, and then what you might want to do first is create a function hub, and you can see that you will be able to do that right here. Yeah, so you can create a function hub. You can decide to develop within the portal. Let's select the V1 programming model. And over here, you can see different templates for what variety of things you might want to do with Azure Functions app. Azure Functions app and Azure Functions itself, they are pretty intuitive in the sense that they work very similar to AWS Lambda. And the first thing you see here is HTTP trigger. This could be what you use to develop your API. You could assign post or get request there, which is intuitive again. And over here, you see a couple of triggers here that helps you trigger the function when an activity is performed. For example, we have for queue storage, which runs whenever a message is added to a specified queue storage. You have the service bus trigger. You have the blob storage trigger. This runs whenever a document lands in a specified container. It triggers the function to execute maybe Python code or an alert log or whatever it is you want it to do. You have a couple of other things. You have event grid trigger, you have the Cosmo DB trigger, you have Kafka output. You have a couple of things you can do with functions. For the purpose of this tutorial, let us assume we want to go with the HTTP trigger. We can proceed to creating our functions app that way, and you have it created here. First thing I would want to do is set up my applications inside, just so I'll be able to get invocation logs and all. Application Insights helps you track things like invocation. So every time you call the API and there's an error, it helps you track down the error and helps you understand what is going on and what exactly to correct. And it's connected already. So whenever you call the API, you're going to see a couple of logs here that's going to tell you if it's successful or not, the result code, and most importantly, you can click on it to really understand what's going on behind the scene. We can proceed to code and test our first functions app. And you have a couple of placeholders to work with first. You have the main request, you have the params get name, which is pretty intuitive. Call it, you gave it your name, and it's going to respond with this. And you can actually get the function URL, which you can test on your own, or you can optionally test around within the same environment. What you most likely want to do is add a parameter. As you can see here, the parameter for this is, oh, we have a first function. We can easily go back. I'm trying not to cut any of this. part of the video is, so you just see how to get back to that when you make a mistake like I did now, and you can come to your code and test back. Pretty simple, very intuitive. Takes a while to get it up. And like I said, you can test and run here. The parameter that the API is expecting is the name. So I can test and run this here. I can add the parameter here, give it name, and use something like mesh. And I can decide to run this. And you're going to see the output. And there is it. You can see hello mesh, this HTTP triggered function executed successfully. This tells you that the function app worked well. And just on that, let me show you the advantage of using applications insight. We are using the portal development system, which can be pretty good, but it sort of gives you the result live. But if you're developing on VS Code and you're trying to trigger your function from anywhere, you might not be able to get the same live result there, and you're left with using the applications inside to be able to really understand what's going on. Result takes a while to show there, so might have to wait a bit. I'll just keep refreshing, and so I'm going to try to call the function here just so you see exactly how that works. I will come over here, get the function URL, and you can copy that just right here. It's going to tell you exactly what you need. And then you have your URL like that with the code. I should blur this, but I'll most likely delete this just immediately after the video. So no need for that. Then you can make your request. Oh, you have to put in your params. Uh, that's the name, and I'm going to put mesh. And for the response itself, I'm going to use request that post. We have the URL as the URL. We have the params as the params. And you can run this and print your response. Yep, and you can get your response status code and also print your response, the text. And you're going to see that the function also works excellently just this way. And then you can come over to monitors. You can track the logs also within this environment. And I'll show you that in a bit. You can run the same and okay, I'll just, yep, you can see that. So it's going to also give you the log. Yeah, we're supposed to get something like this in the invocation, but seeing as that's taken a while, I'm just going to show you this also. And this shows you how the telemetry, you can monitor the performance of your function. You can monitor the incoming request rate. You can monitor the failure rate. You can monitor virtually everything. Yeah, I make a request there. You're going to see how that will report live here. And you can see that it's actually tracking the request in real time. Let me go back to this and see if we have our logs ready. Still not ready. In the next video,